Hi, I'm Anne Barratt, and I've been asked to introduce myself and what it is that I do. I'm based in the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, Australia, which is a fantastic part of the world. And I am a multi-award winning, multidisciplinary holistic health practitioner, helping people to find the underlying contributing factors to their symptoms and support them through their health and well-being. I'm very passionate about helping people did not have to suffer any longer. I suffered with health symptoms myself for over 20 years with multiple layers of various different conditions, and was just getting sicker and sicker over the years despite seeking support from professionals along the way. And in the end, I had to have life-changing surgery, and I ended up in depression. And at that point, I decided I had two options, and the option I chose was to change my life and to learn how the body works so that I could then help fix myself essentially, to identify what it is that my body needed to heal. Because even though I'd had surgery, I had the innate understanding that surgery is still, for me, was like putting a band-aid on. It still didn't find the underlying contributing factor to my symptoms, and I knew that it would just manifest in some other way unless I started addressing all my problems right away. And so I went on to study, firstly, kinesiology, because kinesiology is one of the few modalities that looks at a person holistically, as well as combines the anatomy of science and the science of anatomy and physiology combined with Chinese theories. The Chinese theories, have been around for thousands of years and have worked for a lot of people. And I just find them fascinating because it also provides really great insights into what the body is trying to communicate with you and helps to connect the dots to really, what one symptom is presenting as now, how that actually may have manifested over the years in your life. So coming to the slides, I work with people to co-create flow and energy, clarity and alignment in all aspects of their life. And why I say all aspects of your life is because, working on the physical will actually change things within your life, within your relationships, and help you to live a much better life as well. So it's not just about empowering your physical health, it's about all aspects of the health of your life, of your career even. And so by empowering insights and shifting blocks within your energy flow, and this only takes like 3 to 5 sessions in general per goal, I say. And because I am a holistic health practitioner, I am not a GP, so I don't treat, diagnose, or prescribe. We work with your symptoms towards a goal and to help you to better manage your symptoms. And this illustration here, which also incorporates my logo, is to represent balance in life and what it is that people really want to achieve by being healthier. And this is one way of looking at things at a really nice is I work with energy and balance. The chi symbol represents energy. That's what it means. And we have energy when we are in balance. Our body is essentially an energy being. Every cell in our body vibrates with a frequency. And it's that frequency that holds all our cells together and makes our organs and our physical structure as well. And this is why energy as a topic is important, as is the frequency. And by connecting in with our heart and our soul healing and connection to our heart space, we can then come into a better state of balance too. Because a lot of people get caught up in their heads, and we need balance between our head and our heart. Our head is that part of us that, judges, criticizes, has to keep to deadlines, and I must do this, I must do that. It judges, oh, I should have done this, oh, I should be slimmer, all those types of things. But instead, if we connect back in, learn to connect back in with the heart space, asking what it is that really, what does our heart want for us? What does our heart need for our healing? And starting to listen and listening to what it wants, what it needs for us, and speaking from that place as well can make a big difference in our lives. And then by balancing ourselves, we work towards self-actualization and alignment. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is human nature to want to constantly improve ourselves. And this is then defined as moving towards self-actualization. And so the ultimate outcome is one of abundance, living on purpose, feeling content and fulfilled in life with peace. And as I said, I'm a holistic health practitioner, and kinesiology is one of the very few modalities that allows people to address science this way. And it is the most comprehensive holistic natural therapy that you'll find in one place. And I've helped find the underlying contributing factors to your symptoms, shift these energy blocks to help you heal. And according to Chinese theory and kinesiology, we work with the triangle of health. That's what this image represents. And so one side represents the mental, emotional, spiritual. Another side equals the physical and structural aspects. And then the third side equals our biochemical aspects, which relates to, for example, nutrition and toxicity, the foods we eat, supplements we take, medications we are prescribed. And then look at how one thing affects the other and which section is out of balance. And so if one side is shorter, then it's going to actually have an impact on the other two sides. This is the easiest way to illustrate how people work holistically. So examples of mental, emotional, spiritual things are anxiety, depression, limiting beliefs around abundance, for example, having the lack mentality, self-sabotage and low self-worth. Then we have physical aches and pains and misalignment in like your structure. For example, like I've got scoliosis, it would be classed as a physical symptom. And then on the other side, we have bloating, menopause, fertility issues, weight gain, and inflammation. And so if our triangle is off balance, that means there's less room for that chi symbol, less room for energy. And so people tend to be more tired, more fatigued, have brain fog, and all those types of symptoms as well when they come to see me. However, this also illustrates the balancing techniques that come into play and how, even though, I might be working on an acupressure point on the head, that actually may then affect something biochemical, because it demonstrates that every side is interrelated. So every part of your body and life is connected in some way. Excuse me. Now, this is just an illustration of the process that people go through when they come to see me, so what they can expect. So first we start with a detailed history, then we get to know each other, then we hypothesize together based on their history documents, and I ask them some more questions. Then I take them through the basics of science and energy and the theory from anatomy and physiology and traditional Chinese medicine. Then get them up on my table, or I work with people online as well as remotely. And we check all three sides of the triangle of health as a basis, just to see that each one is functioning okay before we can move forward. Then I do pre-checks of the basic foundations of health. So pre-checks are a way of also making sure that the information that is traveling via a client's neurology from their brain through their body is not being hindered in any way, so that we're getting accurate information. Within the way that I work, I use muscle testing, and muscle testing is a neurological response to what is for someone's well-being and what's not for their well-being. Should I be moving towards this, or am I being repelled from it? Then we do some, because I'm also a mindset coach, business coach, and hypnotherapist, we clear subconscious patterns because the subconscious mind can actually block people from their wellness. So as an example of a block my own subconscious mind created for me was when I was trying to lose weight. I was following a strict weight loss program, which involved taking protein shakes. And after a month, I actually started putting on weight by following this program. And I was reflecting on that and my mindset and doing the sabotage clearing programs, and identified that actually I had been brought up to believe that you're actually healthier when you have weight on you, and that skinny was classed as sick. So my subconscious mind believes that if I'm skinny, I look sick and I am sick. If I have weight, I'm strong and robust, I am healthy. That comes from a European background. My parents are from Estonia. And yes, well, my mum always thought skinny people look sick. So we need to clear these things so that your body can change. Once I realized that my subconscious mind was putting on weight as a way of trying to make me healthy, I was then able to shift this using a variety of techniques to reverse it again. And then I started losing weight, which was fantastic. And then lastly, we do the whole body balancing to create flow. Now, why I talk about flow is because, according to Chinese theory, energy flows through the 5 elements. And the 5 elements are an expanded version of the yin and yang symbol. It is literally yin and yang, and it represents all the meridians, and your flow of life can be overlaid onto this. So this is my version. Chinese would say the first point on the left, where I've got spark, is wood, and then going around clockwise, fire, earth, metal, and water. And I've used these words as a way of explaining what each of those in the flow of life are. So wood is about creating a spark, having an idea, some inspiration, or it could be the first sign of stress that comes online in your body. Then we move forward into fire, which I say is explore, because that's when we have fire and effort and passion, and we do some research into our idea and start putting things in place. Then next is the earth phase, where things come to fruition. So our idea is actually created, and we feel content and fulfilled. And for example, we have the spleen and stomach meridians in the earth. And so the emotions that relate to those things are also in there. And then we have reassess. So that's a metal element. So sometimes, when we've been in a job, for example, we've been feeling great, then something starts to happen and we start to feel less than satisfied, whether or not we don't get along with our boss or the work isn't fulfilling anymore. And we start to reconsider what it is that we want to do before moving forward into the water element, which is the last one, and release and let go so that you can start your new way of being. And as I said, each one relates to 2 meridians, except the fire element, which has 4. The meridian names are also the names of organs. And within each one, we have a list of emotions, and every single muscle in the body is on a meridian line. And through this way, for me, it's a great way to start connecting the dots of what's going on in a person's life and health. This is a list of all the disciplines that I'm actually qualified in and insured to work with. I use kinesiology as my foundation and then draw on everything else as a tool and a resource by using the protocol from kinesiology. So I've done specialist training also in psycho-emotional trauma, which addresses traumas that came online from childhood, almost contributed to your neurological pattern and your personality profile today. And so go back and help identify these things so that you can choose to shift and change and choose more appropriate responses moving forward. And then I also have specialist training in working with hormones, done hypnotherapy. I'm actually qualified to teach a training level, Reiki master, qualified in counselling, and I've already mentioned those things. Then mind body sciences and positive psychology, epigenetic healing cycles. I originally did shamanism and metaphysical studies. Also emotional freedom technique and tapping is a fantastic tool I provide people for home support most often. Then timeline therapy and neurolinguistic programming, coaching, I work with the energy systems, and I'm also an advocate for those that are childless, not by choice. And this has been part of my journey also. And by combining all these things together, it helps to create results with long-lasting change. Kinesiology was actually created by a chiropractor originally, because the chiropractor found that people kept coming back to him with the same problem. So he'd been taught that, they do an adjustment and the problem should go. However, people kept coming back. So he realized that there had to be more to it. And then that's how he identified that there are emotions involved and that there are nutritional aspects involved as well, among other things. And this is the level that I can work on. Can't change the slides now. Let me try down here. It's better. And this is my experience. So as I said, I'm multi-award-winning business owner and kinesiologist. I work with both adults and children of all sexes and races, and I work online, remotely, and in person with internationally, as long as the time zones work. But working remotely means that we don't have to worry about time zones. I have over 30 years of development, 50 years of life experience, and 8 years of running Empowering Health as it is. I am a member of a professional association of the International Institute of Complementary Therapists, and I am insured. And this is what the 5-element theory looks like in reality, formally, I should say. And I was going to provide some couple of quick examples of how this can provide us insights, also some examples of how I've helped people. And there are various symptoms that do appear along here. For example, weight gain, particularly women in 40 plus. We've got the spleen and the stomach. So, why is it that people are putting on weight? And often there's a relationship between the earth phase as well as the water phase. The water phase represents our endocrine system. So as we go into menopause, our hormones change, cortisol levels increase, and because we don't have the estrogen to manage those cortisol levels any longer, and then that can have an imbalance on our anything that's chemical within our body. And a lot of women start to crave sugars and compensate for lack of sweetness in life, and which is what the spleen meridian is about. And so by providing a balance within here, like for example, when there's a flow, people say, I'm feeling blocked, I'm feeling stuck, or otherwise I've got a pain site somewhere. So in those cases, we put a plus symbol there. But because energy is meant to be, but energy is meant to be flowing around in a circle. If it gets stuck somewhere, that's where we put the plus or the block. And then if there is a block, there is somewhere that it has to be stealing its energy from. So often, your symptoms may actually be where the minus is in this flow, as opposed to where the block really is. And this is one way of finding those underlying contributing factors, because often people will get these things addressed, but it's actually not bringing this energy back to where it belongs so that energy can start flowing again. So when you let things go, you can start your new way of being again, and life continues. I had a male client with physical shoulder pain. He'd been experiencing it for over 10 years, been seeing his GP and a physio, both of them, and literally they'd said they couldn't do anything more for him. His GP offered him the option of surgery, which he was reluctant to have because he didn't feel that was quite right. So he thought he'd give me a go. Often people come to me as a last resort. They used to, when people didn't quite know what kinesiology or holistic health was. And while in the first session, we identified there was a lot of emotional baggage that he was carrying along, a lot of emotional burden. He personally didn't want to identify with any of this and told me I was wrong. However, he did come back. And so in the second session, the reason why he was coming to see me and why he wanted to get rid of the shoulder pain, not just because of the physical pain, was because his goal was to just play golf almost every day. He had just retired and golf was his passion. So that's all he wanted to do. And that's why it was so important to him to release this pain. And in the second session, I actually got him to show me, demonstrate the motion of hitting the golf ball with a golf club, just as an imaginary hit. And then he actually triggered for him that the pain actually wasn't happening as he was hitting or playing. The pain would come online when he got home. Then I went through the kinesiology protocol. There are hundreds of different tools to choose from, and muscle testing indicates what it is that the body needs, and it brought up a balance that relates to geography and external sources of stress. And then we went through a checklist, and within that checklist, two things came unlocked, which showed which wasn't for his well-being. That's what that would indicate. And they relating to the toxins that he was being exposed to at the golf course. And so, at a golf course, they use fertilizers and other chemicals, and his body just wasn't able to process it. So to support that, he had to take supplements, but he only had to take them like before going to play and then when he got home. So before, to prepare his body for going and being exposed to the chemicals, and then after to help support his body with the elimination process. I didn't hear from him for 3 months, but then I got an amazing email from him thanking me and to say that his pain completely disappeared and it didn't return. So I was very happy for him. And just another example, I had a mother and daughter come. Both of them were experiencing, looking to be diagnosed with psoriasis, but their whole face was peeling, and the daughter's lips were also constantly peeling, and she was also suffering from anxiety and couldn't focus, and so her mum was homeschooling her instead. And a lot of these symptoms I already knew. I'd read that there may be an underlying imbalance between omega-3s and omega-6s, and muscle testing indicated something similar. So they chose to modify their diet. They were eating healthy and they were growing a lot of their own foods, but they just had an imbalance. And so it made some recommendations. They started taking omega fish oil, and their skin improved and the daughter's focus improved, and she was actually able to sit down and study and also keep a job for the first time as well. Both mum and daughter were very happy. The divine outcome that I like to think the people are working towards: energy and balance, connection back in with their body, self-actualization, leading to a life of abundance, purpose, contentment, fulfillment, and peace. So if you have any questions, please do send me a message via email, or you can find me at www.empoweringhealth.clinic and /connect, where you'll find various links. I hope that's been helpful, and I look forward to connecting with everyone in the community over time. My name is Anne Barratt of Empowering Health.